This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all,
just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. It's Monday. We got Erica and Jeff here with you to waken you up. Jeff is a little scary. We are going to talk about what happened to Jeff.
Erica hasn't seen me yet. I got a halo facial done. I'm not really sure what that entails, but there's lasers and it's painful.
And how do you feel now?
Listen, from what I look like Thursday after it was done, I don't want to scare anybody out there, but listen, I don't know how women go through that. Men get this too, but it's supposed to get rid of all like your sun damage.
That's good.
Right?
That's
so
good.
if you saw me on Thursday,
yeah,
it was a problem. And then luckily Jure helped me out, hooked me up with some cover up, so I don't look as hideous. Just
as hideous.
Easy on the close-ups today, fellas.
Brian, you might want to zoom out.
I sent a picture to the group chat, and I was on the beach with my husband Anthony. I was like, that's what Anthony's going to look like if I don't get him out of the sun. Sure.
Did he look like
sure as the day was long, that man burned.
Oh,
and
no.
I did, yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you, even if you are a chimney sweeper. It's good to see you. Welcome to DBL. As I said, it's an historic day because today marks the beginning of the first ever criminal trial of a former U.S. president. If you didn't know, Donald Trump arrived this morning at a lower Manhattan courtroom looking a little downcast.
He got a little facial laser done.
He had something done. He's been charged with 34 felonies accusing him of falsifying documents. Now, in order to cover up a sex scandal with porn star Stormy Daniels. Here's what Trump himself had to say just before the trial started.
This is an assault on America. Nothing like this has ever happened before. There's never been anything like it.
Okay. Trump has maintained his innocence. Jury selection begins today, and a lot of people are wondering if they can find any impartial jurors in New York City. This is a big deal. A lot of people have heard of it. So DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. Can Trump get a fair trial in New York City? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I want to ask that, and I also want to ask about your opinion that the judge in this case decided not to televise it. Good idea, bad idea? How will this impact everything? Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's a good idea not to televise it.
For
as
who?
Curious as for America.
For America.
For both sides. I just think Trump riles people so much up in both directions, on the left and the right, that it's just not great. Things are already heightened right now. I don't know if we need all that chaos going on. And I don't know how he's going to get off.
I know.
Is
he's
he
facing
claiming
up to 4 years
is he
in prison.
claiming he didn't do this?
He's claiming innocence all over the place. He's maintaining all innocence, which is hard.
I think everyone kind of knows he kind of did this, right?
Right.
So it's going to be tough for him to get off. So
Correct.
I'm curious to see how that's going to happen. But as far as impartial jurors go, that's going to be a problem. Again, because people are so heightened on both sides, whether like no matter what happens, I'm going to go in there and lie because I'm putting this man in jail,
sure,
or I'm dying for this man and I'm getting him off. I'm not comparing it to the OJ, but the jurors were similar in that case.
True.
Not comparing the two at all. But if you get someone so staunch in their beliefs, it's going to be hard to get an impartial juror in there.
That's true. You either love or hate Trump. There's no neutral.
And there's so much emotion surrounding it.
That's right. That's right. What do you think, Erica?
Yeah, I don't think the question should be if he's able to get a fair trial in New York. I think the question is, would he get a, quote, impartial trial anywhere? I mean, you're talking about a person who was voted on by nearly half of the voting demographic. So that's a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Is there a place that you could hold this? The other thing about like the transparency, it's like on one hand, I totally understand Jeff's thought about it doesn't need to be televised. But on the other hand, you are kind of denying the American public the ability to discern for themselves.
Right.
That being said, what percentage of the American public could actually discern for themselves without having to go to their local news source, or when I say local, their favorite news source, or Twitter, X, or whatever, to figure out how they should feel?
Right.
So it's kind of like it's a catch-22.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be televised, and it's not because I dislike Trump, but I also think having this historical moment where we have an ex-president in a trial, I think it would be important to see the information coming out, especially in an election season in which he's running again. So I think that's really important to get the information. A lot of people are writing in, can he pardon himself? The answer is absolutely no. This is a state crime, and in state crimes, no one can, a president can't pardon himself. So we're dealing with New York City, and therefore he cannot pardon himself, and I wanted to make that clear.
Do you think this will be wrapped up by the time the election comes?
So it's supposed to last about 6 to 8 weeks. That's a pretty long trial.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little bit shorter, 4 or 5 days. This is a long trial. I think because it's hidden, he can cover this up with a lot of other things, and this gets forgotten. That's my problem with it not being televised, is that it's not of import, because our minds see media as currency. And if he's not on the media and in trouble, he's not really doing anything wrong.
But he will be on the media, because they're going to show him, I believe he has to go to court every day.
He is required to sit in court.
This is going to be headlining news every day, because he's going to be going in and out of court.
But there's no sound bites, and there's no information.
He'll give one.
Yeah, but
he'll give you a sound bite.
I wish we had sound bites from the other side as well. Let's take a look at our poll here. Can Donald Trump get a fair trial in New York City? 73% of you say yes. 27% of you say no. Interesting. Coming up on DBL, world leaders react to Iran's attack on Israel. Is this the beginning of World War III? And what is your stress language? We're stressed up here just because we're looking at Jeff. Why understanding how you deal with high-pressure moments
is Rob set for a close-up
helpful in your relationships. Rob, get him real quick.
Rob, you got to come right over here.
Oh, my gosh. Sweep that chimney. Welcome back to DBL. As I'm sure some of you saw over the weekend, Iran attacked Israel with more than 300 missiles, rockets, and drones. But with the help of the U.S., Britain, and France, 99% of those projectiles were shot down before they hit their intended targets. Literally, no one was killed, thankfully, and only one person was injured. Now, the whole world is on edge as Israel debates what, if anything, it's going to do in retaliation. We just thought this was a good opportunity to talk about how we feel about the news and the fact that a wider war may now break out. So, if you didn't know, I'm just going to set up the map. Israel is very small, about the size of Rhode Island, Delaware, tiny, surrounded by countries that don't.
It's that small?
Tiny, very small.
I didn't know that.
Very, extremely small, and it's surrounded by countries that don't like it, don't want it there, and want to remove it from the face of the earth. The only protection Israel has is something called the Iron Dome, which is what we helped fund, and it is a protection, a missile protection, literally covers the missile strikes and protects the missiles from coming in. That helped, as well as US, Britain, and France literally shooting the missiles down. What scares me, and I want to offer this to you, Iran is saying they're very close to having nukes. Russia is backing them financially. You got Syria, you got Jordan, you got all this, and then you got tiny little Israel, the one democratic country amongst all of the others. How does this make you feel?
I think that, you know, honestly, to me, it's a wake-up call to us in the U.S. to really, we are so privileged.
Yeah, we are.
When it really comes down to it. We have never experienced during our lifetime actual war on our U.S. soil. And people act like that's just a given, which is what happens when you're in a privileged position. You don't consider that things can happen to you because you've never experienced it.
That's right.
And I think that there's a saying about how the U.S. are kind of like the teenagers of the world.
Because we're so young.
And the discourse that's happening right now, and like all of the divisiveness and the politicizing of everything, and there's seemingly is very little unity. And the easiest way, the most vulnerable time to attack is when unity doesn't exist.
Right.
And I just don't understand how these conversations aren't happening more, because if we are vulnerable, and I do believe that we are, I think a show of leadership has been quite weak.
Yeah.
And the way that we go about talking about leadership and showing our leadership is quite comical to anyone who wishes anything nefarious against us. And I wish we were having more of those conversations.
Yeah, and just to offer more to what you said, not only are we privileged, if you're in Israel and you're a woman or a man, at 18, you join the military. No questions asked, because they don't have anybody else. They're taking women, they're taking men, they're taking everybody. They are all taught in Israel to protect that homeland as if it is their breath, their heart. I believe strongly Israel needs a home. It has to have a homeland. Jews need a place to be able to be safe. What do you think about all this, Jeff?
Other countries do that as well. 18, I know Italy does
Yeah,
that. If you're 18, you got to go to the military. I think that's a great idea because it shows discipline.
Yeah.
It shows a lot of different
and a love
things.
for the country.
Support for your country.
Right.
Absolutely. It scares me because we're in an election year, and a lot of times,
That's a great point.
depending on who the president is, it flexes its power and it kind of unites the people by showing your military strength, right? For some reason, this has been proven throughout history. So I hope it doesn't come to a place where Joe Biden flexes his muscle to show that he is still strong, and just because it's an election year. I mean, we just got out of the Middle East.
I know.
And to go back to defend, I'm supporting Israel. I think that's the right move, to support Israel and what we did with the air defense. But to get back into that war in the Middle East and the hatred around the world, especially from the Middle East, that people have for America, the propaganda with all, they just teach their kids at a young age, America is the devil.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's scary. We're in a scary time right now, and like Erica said, the discourse that we have just within our own country right now, it's a very fragile time for us.
Absolutely. So please be on the lookout for your kids. A lot of people, including Russian bots, are giving misinformation about all this off of TikTok. It's a big propaganda move, and they're winning. So please teach your children the truth about what's going on. Coming up on DBL, talking all about how all of this stress can be actually working for you, because we have a question. What's your stress language? We're talking about it next. Welcome back. So, as everything we just talked about, I'm already stressed out. It might be time to learn about your stress language. So, a wellness expert created a list to explain how we respond to and express stress, and also talks about how stress language can impact our relationship. So, let's take a look.
So, stress languages are not to be judged or fixed or anything like that, but learning your partner's way in which they express that they are stressed can be helpful to a relationship. So, is your partner a fixer, a denier, a number, an exploder, or an imploder?
Okay, so which one do you think best describes, which camera I'm on, best describes you? Okay, so we're gonna go first. There's the fixer. This is someone who jumps in to fix people or the problems. We all know someone like that. The denier, someone who throws around toxic positivity. It's all good. It's all good. The number, someone who throws, they wrote the same thing. Someone who will try to distract from their stress in any way that they can. The exploder, someone who explodes in anger. And the imploder, someone who takes on stress as if they're the main cause of it and takes on self-criticism. Takes it on inward, sorry. So what do we think? There's some benefits here biologically. Knowing your stress language and your partners can help better understand. Anyone have a grab of what they are?
Oh, definitely. I'm a hybrid of the fixer, and the imploder.
And the imploder. Talk to me.
I believe that the imploder takes it on yourself because I believe that I'm better able or better equipped to handle it than whoever else is in the position. So there's this thing where, like, I don't want to see other people in distress. Like, I don't want things to go wrong.
Right.
So I have to also, I've been in therapy about this because I don't want to become a mower parent where I'm clearing out like
all the obstacles.
Right.
I see.
But I just do that. And it's not great. It's not like it's like an admirable thing to do.
Right.
It's just something that it feels like I can have control of something.
It's about control.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you?
I think, what did the fourth and fifth one?
The exploder.
I'm an exploder.
I think you're a little bit the exploder.
I'm trying to be better at that. And what's the last one?
The imploder.
Okay, so I'm an exploder and imploder. Because my first instinct is I've always had a problem with my temper, and I lose my temper and say things that I don't necessarily mean, right? And I get too aggravated about it. Then when things settle down and I settle down, I implode.
You take it in.
And I say, I don't blame other people. I'm like, why did I do that? I got to get a hold of myself, you know? And even with my kids, you know, I'll yell and I'm like, I didn't need to yell like that.
I see.
You know, like, and then I feel guilty. And then I feel like I need to work on things. So I'm both of those. It's like
before and after too.
Yeah, and I really have to work on that. You know, like in the moment, I know my kids are driving me crazy, like
chill out.
Just chill. Yeah,
Let me ask you something. When you're exploding, we've all had times. Do you know you're exploding, or is it I'm seeing red? Like, you can't control it.
I don't explode. I implode.
You implode.
Yeah.
You go in. When you explode, do you know you're exploding, like in the middle of it, or are you like?
Yeah, and then sometimes, well, not as much anymore. I mean, you guys think I'm bad now. You should have saw me when I was younger.
Is that right?
But in the moment, you get past the point of caring.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't care about the consequences. What comes after this? And then it's the implosion. You're like, what was I thinking? You're not in your right frame of mind a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
That's really good to know. I kind of sometimes think I'm a number.
You are a number.
I do and take things to relax and chill and just not see it.
Yeah.
And it's also a bit of a denier, isn't it? Who's like, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. I can fake it and bring it on.
I think that's probably, I think personally for you, I see both of those.
Yeah.
I see you being more of a number than a denier,
Right.
because the denier part would probably subside some of the anxiety that you're trying to numb.
Sure.
But
The numbing.
yeah, I mean, none of them alone are great. I think understand.
I feel really crappy about myself
like,
now.
I think understanding what you're doing and why helps you navigate better, you know, with the people that you love and are around you. And sometimes you can make it work to your advantage. Like, I'm married to a fixer.
Sure.
So we're always just fixing things. You know, like that. It is what it is. You know. But then also, that's my love language, because I want to feel like someone authentically wants to protect me, like I authentically want to protect them.
So this knowledge is all good. No one's feeling bad about knowing their stress language.
No, I think it's good to look inward and kind of know your weaknesses or what you need to work on. At least for me, that's how I like. Because then you're admitting the problem.
Yeah, you're
right?
showing
and then
it
you
up.
got to work on it. Some people just deny everything. It's not my fault. It's their fault. I didn't do anything.
Right.
You know?
Wow. Interesting. Well, let us know what you are and how you think this will help you in the future. Yeah, I think this is fascinating stuff and can be helpful with what's going on in today's world. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. If you're looking to burn some calories before a swimsuit season starts, are they talking to me personally? You might want to hit the tub. Okay, enough. According to a study, people who soaked in a waist-high hot bath for an hour burn the same amount of calories as a 30-minute walk. Do you all get swimsuit ready, or do you not care? That's what it says.
You know, I care.
Good answer. How do you feel? Do you need to get in? I mean, your face needs work, but what about your body?
If these stones were going the other way, Bert would be calling me on the phone between shows. No, I try to get ready, you know what I mean? That dad bod, you guys, everyone says it's sexy. It's not.
Okay.
So I try to work on it. Yeah.
Nice, okay. all
You
right.
want to go there, Erica?
I do find a dad bod sexy.
Oh boy. All right, if you need to
Then you be loving this.
if you need to update your bath, Jacuzzi can help. See, Jeff's a fixer. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched stress-free remodeling process. Call 1-800-996-0017 or visit jacuzzibathremodel.com. Before we go, though, we got to give a big shout out to one Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Scheffler won the Masters golf tournament yesterday in Augusta, Georgia. It is his second time winning the green jacket. But get this, his wife Meredith is pregnant with their first child, by the way. And he told reporters he would leave the tournament if she went into labor. Even if he got the call on the 17th hole. After his win, though, he had a special message for her. Take a look.
To my lovely wife, Meredith, I love you, sweetheart. I'm excited for the next few weeks. Excited to get home. Hopefully I'll get home as quickly as I can. But I miss you, and I love you, and I'll be home soon.
Scheffler, huh?
He's such a sweet guy.
What a
He's
sweet
such a sweet
man.
guy, yeah. And to say that he would leave the tournament, he got $3 million for that win, and to leave on the 17th hole, that's a good man, because I'd be like, you want $3 million, or you want me to come over there? You know?
Be like, I'm gonna need you to finish this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be here when you
I
get
mean,
back.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. Go ahead and putt and relax. But Scheffler was, what, minus 11? I mean, it was a huge break. And Tiger did well for a while, and then he went into the last of the pack. But what's so sweet about Tiger, if you didn't know, is the amateur that won from Ohio State and his buddy, who was his caddy, got to walk with Tiger because he was at the bottom of the pack. So they had a lovely Sunday afternoon at Augusta. Isn't that cool? I thought that was so neat.
A lovely Sunday afternoon.
You watched
competitive sport.
But they were joking around and laughing, and I'm like, imagine just being an amateur and you spend Sunday in Tiger's red with him walking Augusta. That would be amazing. Nothing to say, Jimmy Sweet?
Well, I mean, you want to go?
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ran
Same
out of
time,
things to say
same
to you. Went
place.
for an insult.
Bye, guys.